In this full tutorial, I'm going to show you how to carve this carrot. A lot of fun, a great practice piece for beginners, and I'm going to take you right through the process, right through from starting out with basically about a 3-inch block of 1x1 basswood, and we'll then carve that down to a carrot, and then I'll show you how to paint that as well, and indeed wax it to give it a nice sort of sheen when it's finished. Really good practice. You get to practice your sweep cuts, your V cuts, and it's really good fun to do. We just did a class at the weekend, actually, me and a few friends, and I was teaching them how to, we started out with carrots because they were all, most of them were, you know, beginners just getting started in the hobby. So it was really good fun. So this is sort of a follow-up to that class. So as I said, we got, it's just under 3 inches, doesn't really matter, whatever size carrot you want to make. Got about 3x1x1, and I'm just going to mark a 3/4 inch point on there with the pencil like that. So about 3/4, it doesn't have to be perfect, just a rough mark like that. And then let's use place the pencil on there, and you'll notice I'm just going to use my finger here as a sort of a distance guide there, and just try and make a pencil line all the way around the block like that. Okay, and hopefully that'll meet, yep, right where it should. Let's put on a carving glove, and I'm going to show you the cuts you need to make now to create that carrot. All right, and I have to give Harley Refsal all the credit for this one. I got the idea of one of the videos I found of him carving. Harley Refsal, for those of you who are not familiar, he's, you know, an icon in the carving world. He does flat plane style carving, and he uses this one as a sort of a demonstration for carving. And so so I borrowed this from him. So all credit to Harley Refsal for this carrot idea. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing it with you folks, because I think it's a great teaching tool. And so here's what we're going to do first. We're going to do what we call a V cut. And to do that, I'm going to basically take the corners off this block by placing the knife about, what, 1/4 inch below the pencil line at a 45-degree angle. And then I'm going to use my thumb to push the blade up into the wood. This hand here is really just guiding the blade, but watch what happens. I'm going to gently push that until the blade meets the pencil line. And then I'm going to take it out, and I can come over to about the same distance on the other side at the reverse 45-degree angle. And I'm going to try and pull that down and slice that out. Now, basswood's very soft, so you should be able to easily get a clean cut like that. Let's just go around and do the others. So again, pushing up, and you can just, if you want, just push down on it as well. Usually you can get away with that too. Once again, push up to meet the pencil line, push down, pull down with your thumb, however you like to work, whatever's more comfortable. And one more time, again, up to the pencil line, and then again aiming at the pencil line, 45-degree angle, pull that blade down and pop that chip out. If it doesn't quite come out, just go in again with a knife and flick it up like that. All right, and so we've basically got that shape. And what I'm now going to do is do multiple V cuts like this all the way around to carve out a groove that goes right round what will be the carrot. So let's do one here, and I'm starting from a similar distance, similar angle, pushing in, and do the same coming down from the top like that. Snap that out. I'm going to try and keep that clean. We will be going in and doing further V cuts in there when we shape the top of the carrot in a minute, but let's go around like that. And I'm going to try and join these up. So I'm just going to, and if you're new to this and your hands haven't quite got the muscle memory and the strength yet, you can make smaller cuts. That's fine. Shallower cuts, more of them, doesn't matter. Whatever gets you there. And you can see that one was more or less flat across, and I'm just sort of leveraging that down with my arm, really. and just keep going up till you meet the pencil line on both sides. There it is, and then snap that out like that. We're just roughing it. Doesn't have to be perfect at the moment. We just want to rough this out and get the basic shape. Up there again and downwards, and there we go. Pop that out, up to the pencil line again. Of course, the pencil line will completely disappear, but that's okay, because we've now got really the groove telling us where the rest of the cutting is going to start from. Let's take that middle piece out there, like that, until we got a groove all the way around that's similarly deep. All right, and you can go around again, take a little bit more out of the corners if you want, up to you. We do want to get it rounder, so where the square of the wood is, we can take a little more material off like that. But really we're ready to go on to the next stage. Okay. And the next stage is to turn this over, and I'm going to do a number of what we call sweep cuts now, which is where we are holding the work in our gloved hand here, and I'm going to basically use my thumb to leverage that blade up through the material like that. I'm just going to break the corners to start with. All right, and I'm trying to push it in a little bit harder at the end, because ultimately we want to get this tapered. And if you can't get all the way, then come up further up the job and do it again. And we're going to keep doing this until we've shaped the carrot more or less how we want it. Each time I'm coming back a little, taking a little more off here, trying to get rid of these high corners first, and then what I'll do is I'll come down toward this end, and I'm going to use sweep cuts again to take more out of the narrow end of the carrot. So you can see there, you can get quite ambitious there, get quite deep. Take that out just to start getting that nice taper like that. You can see how quickly this starts to take shape. All right. And again, I'm always using my thumb to push it through, and I'm somewhat guiding and leveraging off my thumb and kind of turning this as I cut. So that helps make hence the sweep cut, which is what it's most commonly called. And we'll keep working at narrowing the end off. And once we've started that, we can work our way up the body and start taking again from these big corners. Let's try and take a bigger slice now. Going down, so we start to taper our carrot like that. And yeah, we get these sort of big flat areas. This is Flat-Plane style. You can do it whatever style you want. If I took lots more cuts and I tried to get that very cylindrical, that would be a different style, but I'm going for a flat plane look on my carrot. So, and the idea of that is you can produce a carving very quickly, almost like impressionism in carving. I think of it as, you know, you're not trying to really do the minute details, but you're trying to really give the impression of a carrot and just capture its character a little. All right, so you can see how quickly you can get that to the shape you want. And notice I'm going to the end and nibbling bits around. As it gets nearer the right size, I'll round that end off. You can see here's one I did earlier, where I've done what's called pairing cuts just to round that off a little bit. Let's do a bit more work on the body of the carrot. My goal is to remove all of these where the wood was cut, the outer edge, the flats from the what you might call a milled edge or the sawn edge of the wood. I like to make sure the knife has really gone over all of the surfaces of the carrot there, so that everything has got the same texture and has been carved like that. There we go. Again, let's come back up a bit further and come down again. Get some long sweeps like that. That's really getting close to the shape we want now. There's some flat stuff there. I'm going to try and take a bit more of that off. We really want to be able to not see where the flat edges were when we have a finished carrot. So I'm going to try and make sure you see that's a little darker there where the machined edge is. I'm just going to gently carve that off and then sort of carve away from that flat so that we really hide the fact that it was a flat area. There we go, there's another flat bit there. I'm going to come to the edge, take more off the side. And then come around and remove that sawn surface there. All right, that's getting pretty good, pretty close to what I was hoping to get. So, and we're getting very much the carrot shape we're after now. Okay, so let's just go around and round it off a little bit more. Oh, a little bit flat there still. Let's come in and take that out. There we go, and there it goes. And go to where the corners used to be and peel that down. Same here. Like that. And you could get creative. You could curl your carrot a little bit. They're never dead straight, are they? So we could do that a little bit toward the end there. Just make it a bit more interesting. So you can make a curly carrot. Like that. And there it is. We're getting pretty much the shape. I've hit most of the surfaces there. So we could really stop with the body of the carrot right there and just go to the tip here. And let's just nibble. This is a sort of paring cut where we're just sort of going across the grain. I'm just rounding it off. Again, just to get rid of the sawn part here and give the carrot a stronger and rounder end. And that looks a bit fat there, so let's take a bit more off. Okay. Let's curl it over a bit, just to make it a bit more interesting. All right, and let's sneak the ends off like that until we really can't see that sawn end anymore. That'll do, I think. Make sure there's no hard edges there. There it is. All right. Okay, so we have a slightly curly flat plane style carrot. Now, next what we do is we're going to actually try and remove some of this top because we're going to now build the stem. All right, you can see we've got quite a lot of material to get rid of. So here's how I can place the blade. You can actually remove quite a lot. But I'm making sure my finger is very important. It's below where the blade is likely to come out. Now the grain's going this way, and I'm pretty much going to snap these corners off. So I just want to catch the bottom with my finger here so that the thing doesn't go flying off. All right, just to hold it secure. Then again, using my thumb, I'm going to bring this down almost to the bottom of that groove. And I'm just going to dig in a bit. And then I'm sort of going to twist the knife up. And that will just snap that out there quite safely. So dig in, snap it off. Again, dig in, snap it off. Dig in, snap it off. And we're starting to get a sort of an octagonal kind of top. And now I'm going to go around again and repeatedly just take off nice big slices to reduce that stem area. All right, like that. As we go round until I've pretty much removed where the original groove was. All right, I really just I don't want too much up here. You can have a very big stem on it if you want, but I'm going to narrow this down a bit more. So let's just go around a couple more times. Again, don't worry about getting it perfectly round. We do want to leave just enough of this groove here so we know where we're going to go in and make it deeper. So the next step is we're now trying to get the shape of the top of the carrot, which is going to be sort of rounded like that. And this is going to go up like this. All right. Easiest way to do that is do another series of V-cuts at a steeper angle this time. So instead of being at the 45, I'm going to come to about, what's that, going to make a 60-degree groove. And again, I'm just going to use my thumb, push in there. You can see a flake of the wood lifting up. Now, I don't want to flick it out like I did before. I want to cut in there, come down upon it like that, and try and snap that out. And then we just sort of work around, all right, making that groove deeper. Again, and really shaping the top of the carrot. Okay. And you can be more at 45 on the top part, but on the bottom we want to be a bit steeper because we're trying to round the top of that carrot off. Okay. And you can see it sort of lifting where the stem's going to be as we work around. Like that. Okay. And that's it. So we've kind of started to get a more rounded top to the carrot. A little bit more work to do. I'm going to go in again, steeper still, and then come down like this from the top at a steeper angle. So we're shaping the top of that, at the bottom rather, of that stem part. Give that some character now. All right. See, I'm doing a much steeper one on the top and a shallower one on the bottom. Don't do too much of this or the stem will get too narrow and it'll fall off, and then you'll have to rethink your carrot a little bit. You'll have to go in for a new design. When you're carving, doesn't matter if something goes wrong. Let's say you did that. You went too skinny and the top popped off. Well, just, you know, change it. Have a very small stem on it, whatever. Just paint a green circle up there. It doesn't matter. It's your carrot, it's your carving, so make it look however you want. All right, so there we go. We've kind of got that shape there now. I'm comparing it to the carrot I did earlier. Okay, not bad. Not too bad. I want to clean the bottom of that out a little bit. You want to be able to kind of see a line there. Don't want to go too deep, real light cuts now, just to get a bit of a line going. So that when I paint this, it's obvious where the green stops and the orange starts, or vice versa. So you just try and get a clean groove there. Some carvers use a little wood burning tool to make a little groove in there. Others use a V tool. You know, it's a very small V tool to do this. But I'm just trying to get a clear differentiation of where the orange and the green will go. All right, and it's probably a bit too deep, so I might just trim that a touch. Just to round this off. Now, not quite done yet. A couple more operations to do and we'll have a finished carrot. So now the top, they've got a square edge here. Not very exciting, not very carvy-like. So I'm going to, again, do some of the parent cuts like I did at the bottom. I'm going to go around the edge and sort of bevel that thing. You see that? You see that all right? And I'll do this progressively, so I'll start off with a slightly, you know, steeper angle like that. And I'll just go around and, again, don't have to be perfect, just get it looking beveled. And then I'm going to even try and get a really shallow angle and try and clean that sawn bit off the top. And again, if it looks like it needs to go in a bit deeper, then we can do so. Again, just push in with my thumb, having the blade come away from the top as I go forward. So it's sort of doing that, just to make a little bit more of an interest on the top there. And then I can come in again, and you just sort of go around until you've basically removed as much of the sawn effect at the top there as you want. Just so that every surface has been carved. All right, like that. There we go. That's more or less it. All right, close enough. Any more sharp edges we can nip off there. Like that. Just sneak those off. Like that, going around. Soften it a bit. Whatever shape you want, really. Now, the last step is very simple. We're going to use the knife to put some V-cuts along the grain. So I'm going to go in at this angle, like that. And then I'm going to turn it slightly and come at the other angle and try and meet the bottom of that groove. If I didn't quite get there, I'll come back this side, push that in until I can sneak a little chip out like that. Try and get that clean. You could use a little V tool for this if you've got one, but we're trying to do this just with one knife, which is kind of the pleasure of it. You don't have to keep, you know, digging through your toolbox to get different chisels and so forth out. But just go like that. Like that. Go around popping those out just to give the impression of all those little bits of green stem that always grow out of the top of a carrot. You get some nice fresh ones, you always end up with those, don't you? Push that in again, 45 degree, come back the other way. Don't have to be too deep, they can be big as small as you like. You can have as many as you want. I'm just sort of roughly doing an even set on the top there. Like that. Until I end up back where I started. As you can see, this doesn't take too long. And I'm looking at the camera there. I've been recording for 21 minutes. You could, that's roughly how long it takes once you get the hang of it. You won't probably do your first one in that time. In our little class this week, it took everyone a little longer. But they were learning the cuts and everything, so you know, if you're new to this, it will take you a bit longer because you haven't kind of developed the muscle memory yet. But soon enough, you'll be quickly making carrots in similar time to me. And there are guys out there, I'm sure, who could make one way faster than this. But I'm never in a hurry with carving. And the point is, it's a pastime, right? Let's take our time and get the carrot we want. Now, one more operation. My favorite part is you can see these little, actually this one's a better example. You can see these little grooves I put in here. Very simple. Either use a wider knife, or if you don't have a wider knife handy, just randomly push your knife in, wiggle the carrot so it goes in, and then wiggle the blade so it widens it up like that. And so we just put those little sort of growth lines or whatever they are. I'm not too privy to, you know, carrot biology, but they sure look a lot more carroty when you do this. So do the ones around the top. Now I'll flip it over and do a few more. So real simple to do. Just randomly do them like that. Turn it over. Let's do some near the bottom. Not too hard, or I'll snap the end and maybe a shorter carrot than I wanted to make. Like that. There we go again. There it is. Keep going round like that. Sorry, my thumb gets in the way sometimes. Try and keep that out of the way. Show you what I'm doing. Just push and wiggle. Push and wiggle until you can see a line from most sides of your carrot. Whoops, I did two, one above the other. I try and avoid that, but let's make that longer just to kind of throw you off a bit on that. All right, and that is one Harley Refsal style carrot. And now all you need to do is get some acrylic paint. You can paint that orange. Put some green paint on the top. I just use little art ones from places like Michael's or Joann's, that kind of thing. And then how I finish them is I put a little bit of wax on them. So we'll have a look at the painting in just a minute. But as far as the carving's concerned, you've just seen how to carve your first flat plane style carrot. All right, go give that a try. I guarantee you'll have a lot of fun, and it's very satisfying when you've produced your first carrot. Okay, so let's talk about painting the carrot now. And this is pretty much my favourite part. Brings them to life when you put a bit of colour onto them. So here's our carrot. I'm just going to use a basic acrylic. This is a regular orange paint there. And well, for the top, I'm going to use some of that holly green there. Not much to talk about with paint, really. Very much up to you what you do with this. I'm just going to put a little bit in my palette there of the orange. Something I do is I water that down a bit. It does help it mix better, so I'm just using a little pipette there to add about, I don't know, about 20-30% water to that. Let's mix that in. Get that nice and smooth, and then simply paint that on. I'm using a little flat kind of brush there, and this shouldn't take too long at all. So let's just brush some of that onto the body of the carrot. It should be a fairly quick job. Alright, so get the bulk of it covered first. Get a bit more of that paint. Probably could water that down a bit more, but that'll be fine. I like watering it down as well, because you can, if you've got some grain in your bass, it's not a very grainy wood, but if you have some, it's nice to kind of see the wood showing through a little bit on these. There we go. Make sure I've got the bulk of the body done there. And now all I'm going to do is carefully go into the top there, and I'm just going to drag the brush round and get it into that little groove I carved earlier. We don't want to get too much up on the green part, because believe it or not, it will show through the green paint. You get little sort of brown spots appearing where the orange is at. Okay, so just work around there, just let the paint kind of soak into the groove like that. And we'll let that dry for a few minutes until it's dry enough to be handled. Make sure I've got it into my little carroty grooves there. Alright, so we'll come back when that's dry and do the top, and then I'll show you how I wax them. Okay, next I'm going to use this holly green here. It's my favourite green. Come to think of it, it's my only green. Don't need too much of that, just a small splat in there. I gave it a good shake first. And again, we'll do about a 20% dilute on that with just a little pipette there. Add some water, mix that up. Okay, and that'll be perfect for doing the stems on the top. Let's take the first carrot. They're just about dry enough to handle now, and I'm going to gently, let's do the end grain first to kind of absorb some of the excess paint there, and then again I'm just going to try and get it in each of the flutes as I work around my carrot here. And sort of sneak up on the bottom here gently and try and get that to, just so I get rid of any sign of the wood there on that last bit. So come around and then sweep up, come around and sweep up, do it again, and we should be done in just a moment. Try not to get it on the orange part. I think I've managed to avoid that for the most part. There it is. Alright, real quick and simple. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Take a look round. Yeah, nothing serious. Got a little bit there. Try and get a bit more paint down there. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right, I'll do the rest, and then we'll wax. Now, once your paint is really dry, truly dry, this one was painted yesterday, so it should be good. I'm going to just use some, basically, this is beeswax, and I'm going to just brush that on with an old toothbrush, and that will help preserve our carrot and give it a slight sheen as well. I really love the effect of this, actually. It not only protects the wood, like particularly up the top there on the end grain. So I'll just brush that in there first. Get that soaking into the end grain. I'll do the same at the bottom of the carrot too, because that's where the most of the moisture escapes. Is where you've got cuts across the grain. And then I'm going to let's do the flutes first. I'll just get a bit more wax on there and then brush up and get plenty in there. Give it a good old scrub like that. And you can see that's getting a nice little sheen to it. It dulls off a little bit, but we're not really trying to varnish the carrot. We're just trying to protect it, and darkens the paint a little as well. You can sort of see that effect taking place there as I brush that in. And it smells nice too. Right, get a good load on there. Let's get hold of the top end now and brush as much as we can there and onto the body of the carrot. See how quick that is. Make sure it's gotten into all the cracks, all the grooves. There we are. Got a little bit of excess building up there, no problem. We'll get that off with a paper towel in just a minute. But there we got a nice waxy sheen to that. So then all you need to do, let's just make sure we haven't got any blobs caught up in the stem there, in the grooves. And once you're done with that, get yourself a paper towel and just give that a little rub to get the excess off. Like that. And there you go. Might have to run it up the grooves a bit. There's a bit of build up in there. Just get my fingernail in there and get the worst of that out. Alright, lovely. Take that excess off, and you've got yourself, and you can see how that sort of darkened the colour slightly, like that. But that is one completely finished, painted and waxed carrot. Okay. Hope you enjoy making your own carrots, and again, thanks to Harley Refsal for the idea. It's a really great little practice project when you're just getting started, and a lot of fun to do. All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.